Welcome to Garden Delights. I'm Susan Howington, Family Consumer Science Agent with the Henry County Cooperative Extension, partnership with the University of Georgia. Today we're going to be talking about pears, and we're going to be making a pear salad. We'll also hear from Frank Hancock, our Agriculture and Natural Resource Agent, and he's going to talk more about our farmers market. We'll see you back in just a little bit on Garden Delights. Welcome back to Garden Delights. Today we're talking about pears, and we're going to be making a pear salad later on. But let's talk about pears and the nutrition parts of the pear and how good it is for us to put as one of our fruits we need to look at. And I always say, pick a fruit that's in season because they're going to be cheaper. And so pears are going to be right now one of the things you might want to put on your list at the grocery to pick out to buy next time you're at the grocery store. They are a wonderful source of vitamin C, but they also are a wonderful source of fiber. And when I say that, when you're going to eat that pear, make sure that to get that fiber, eat the skin too. Some people don't like the skin, but if you can eat the skin off that pear, that's even better. It is going to be saturated and fat-free, and it's also going to be sodium and cholesterol-free. Now, a medium-sized pear, you're going to get about 100 calories from it. But remember, you're not going to have any cholesterol, any fat-free as far as that goes. It's also going to be very high in fiber, which we really need in our body. It also has that packed with vitamin C, which we all need. And it also has just a little bit of iron in it too. So it's a wonderful fruit to put into your diet. Now, when you're selecting pears, you want to make sure the pears are very, very firm. And you don't want to see any bruises when you're picking them out. Different pears are going to be shaped differently, and there's different varieties out there of pears too. So when you're looking at them, make sure. And so also when you're canning too, there's different types of pears that you might want to use for your canning part too. So those are things you might want to think about. But selecting, you want to make sure you don't see any bruises, any decay. You want to make sure that you see it smooth, good shape. Also, when you're selecting too, when you're buying them at the grocery store, a lot of times you may want to buy them a little bit where they're not so ripe, because you can get them to that stage once you bring them home. One thing you can do as far as selection goes is when you're looking at the pear, if you push down right around where the stem is, that'll tell you too if the pear is getting to that ripe stage. Now, storing that pear, once you have picked it even at your home or at the grocery store, you do want to make sure that you are looking for the same things that I mentioned about as far as the ripeness and also the bruises. Because if you see some bruises on there, to prolong that pear, you want to put it in your refrigerator. A pear usually will stay about a week in the refrigerator, and hopefully in that week time, you know what you want to do with those pears. And when you're storing those pears, if they're a little bit not on the ripe side, you can leave them out for a couple of days on your counter, and then eventually put them in your refrigerator if they're becoming ripe, just to kind of stop the ripeness until you decide what you want to do with them, whether it's a pear salad or you're going to cook them or whatever you're going to do with them. But we also know that you can put pears and other types of fruits in like a brown bag, and you can look at it every day, and this one can speed up the ripeness if you're trying to get them a little bit riper faster for whatever you're going to use them for. So we do know that also works, but we do ask you, if you're going to do it in a brown paper bag, to also look at them every day to see the progressive of how ripe they're going to get. So you want to make sure you can put them where they need to be, either at the counter or your refrigerator, very fast. We do know also all fruit needs to be washed, and I always say this: if you're picking them at the grocery store, you don't know how many people have touched this pear before you picked it out and said, this is the one I want to buy. So make sure you're going to wash that pear, whatever you're going to do, eat it just straight like a pear, or you're going to put it in the salad, or you're going to cook it. Just make sure that you wash the pear. Now, preparation for that pear, we're going to make that pear salad, but you can eat, like I said, the pear fresh, or you can make a salad. You want to make sure that you do know this, that once you cut into a fruit, and especially a pear, it is going to turn brown. And the only way you're going to stop it from turning brown is to add an antioxidant to it. And you can add like a lemon juice, a 1 part lemon juice to 3 parts water. You can dip that pear into that as you're progressing to cut it. That's going to keep that pear really white, doesn't have the brown look coming to it, and it just keeps it real fresh and looking really good when you're going to prepare it for whatever meal you're going to have it with. So just keep that in mind. As far as canning goes, pears can very well. I love to make pear relish. You can make pear preserves. You can even take pears and make them and can them into whole half pears and make even pickled pears, which would be also good. So you can see this is very versatile from the way that you decide you want to prepare that pear. And it's also packed with a lot of good nutrients, so we want to make sure that we put that pear in that list of your grocery list. So when we come back, we're going to be making that pear salad, and hope you're going to like this recipe. So we'll see you back in just a little bit on Garden Delights.
Okay, today we're visiting the Henry County Farmers Market. Henry County Farmers Market is sponsored by the University of Georgia Extension, and it is a locally grown market, so that the produce in here is grown within a 50-mile radius of this area. We insist that it all be grown by the person that's selling it. There's rules that govern this market. Farmers markets have become more and more popular in the last few years, with the people getting out and want to see where their produce actually is coming from. So it gives you an opportunity to come out and meet some of the local farmers and talk to them about how they're growing their produce. You can even go visit their farm. All of them are willing to let you do that. And in fact, on days when the market's not running, they can have you out to their farm to pick some produce. So there's a lot of advantages. It keeps money in the local community. It gives our farmers a place to sell their product without having to go to distant counties where farmers markets exist. So it's been very successful. This is our 6th year of operation. There will be 4,000 or 5,000 customers come through the market before the year's over. Quite a bit of activity goes on here. Today, for example, we've got our 4-H club members have got their projects set up at the front of the building. We also have a 4-H'er here who is making his presentation today to put in his portfolio that he's come out to make his presentation. Henry County 4-H'ers are very active, and there's a lot of them that participate in the county project achievement as well as district project achievement. It is a public speaking kind of event that helps develop good citizens out of our youth. Today we've got about 17 vendors here in the market. The Henry County Library System is represented, as well as quite a few produce vendors. Also local entrepreneurs are here that sell their goods. But everything that's in the market is locally grown, locally produced. And today's event is a tomato tasting event. So we've got all the different varieties of tomatoes that are in the market, and they're set up at a table up at the front that to let people pick out which tomato they like the best, to help them decide as they're going through the market looking at various varieties of tomatoes, that they can pick out the ones they like the best. So that's what we're doing today. We also have the chef come in from Piedmont Hospital. I think he'll be here next week. He was here week before last, and he comes in and selects items from the market and shows how to prepare a dish for that. So if you haven't been to the market, it's in operation from the last Thursday in May to the last Thursday in August, from 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock in the arena here in Heritage Park. So let's go through the market here and see what's going on, and then we're going to go inside and see what Susan's fixing.
are going to be making pear salad today, and it's really simple as far as what we're going to put into it. It's going to be very tasty, but if you're trying to make something cool for the season, pick pears because they are in season. Hopefully this is something your family will like, and it's very simple to make. The first thing on the recipe, I'm kind of going to go through the recipe just so you'll know what the pear salad is made out of. You have 2 tablespoons of honey, that's what I have here. You also have 2 tablespoons of cider, and I'm going to end up putting the cider with the honey. And the reason why I want to do this is I'm going to mix it together, whisk it together, and this is what I'm going to use to put on the pears as I cut them up, is because I don't want my pears to turn. I want them to keep beautiful and white as far as the skin look, and I don't want them to turn dark. And so that's going to be my antioxidant that I talked about earlier about using some kind of acid like lemon juice. Well, mine today is going to be the vinegar. So what I'm going to do right now for the first part of the recipe, just kind of put the vinegar with the honey, and I'm going to whisk this together, and I'm going to mix this honey, and I love honey. If I can use it over anything else to make something sweeter to add to it, that's what I'm going to use is honey. My dad raises bees, and so any chance I can get to go see him and get some honey, I'm going to do it. In different parts of the states that we go in, we have different types of honey. So as you're picking out your honey, you may have dark honey, you may have lighter honey, it doesn't matter. To me, they all taste differently. So if you have one that you like over another, please use that honey if you want to. So as you can see, I've kind of mixed this in together. It's made the honey a little bit looser and a little bit more like a liquid. So this is going to be what I'm going to use to toss my pears in there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and dump this into a larger bowl, because my goal is, as I continue to cut up my pears, I'm going to toss them in the vinegar and the honey. So I'm going to go ahead and put as much as I can get out of here, because I want every bit of this to be able to toss my pears with. I think that's really good. So I'm going to set this aside. And so I'm going to go ahead and start chopping up my pears. Now for the recipe, it's going to tell you about 2 to 3 pears, and you want about a medium size. So what I want to do, I do want to leave the skin on, because like I talked about earlier, I want this product to be as much of a fiber diet pear as far as this goes. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the pear, and you know all fruit has a seed to it. So to make it easier, I'm just going to come down. I'm going to kind of work myself around the where I know the seeds are, and I'm just going to keep pushing it out until I can get all I can off this pear here. And I got a little bit, but I think it's good, so I'm just going to put this aside. You can see the seeds, and what I'm going to do is just flip these over real quick, and I'm going to cut each pear, little quarters that I've made. I'm going to make them into dice-sized pears, because I want them to be where people can eat the pear salad easily. So as I cut the pears up, I'm going to continue to toss them in that honey and the cider vinegar. So I'm just going to chop them up. This is going to make about enough serving for about 6 people. So if you want to serve more people with your pear salad, please do. Just you might want to double your recipe. So just think about how many people you want to serve. You want to try to make sure your pears have a little bit of firmness to it when you're going to eat it, because you want to make sure they're right when you're going to serve this pear salad. So I am going to scoop these up and go ahead and toss those in the honey and the vinegar. And I'm going to toss each time I get done with each pear, because I want them to look really pretty when we make the salad. So I'm just going to toss it a little bit just to make sure I get a little bit of the vinegar and honey on it. And that's going to keep that pear looking like it needs to look. And I'm going to go, and by the way, I have already washed these pears. So if you're wondering if I've washed them, I have. And like I say, it's very important that we wash our fruit, because you don't know who has their hand on it. Now I remember growing up, I had a family down the street from us that had a pear tree. We didn't have one, but I remember them having one. And I couldn't wait to go pick pears off their trees, because they were not really crazy about pears. So I really look forward to picking the pears, and they were a different variety than what I have today. They were a very green pear, very firm, almost like you were eating an apple. But they were very, very tasty. So I'm going to continue to chop on this pear. I'll chop this one just a little bit on this side right here because I want them to be bite-sized so when we eat it, we don't have a piece of pear too big to put in our mouth. So this, as you can see, I guess the most time-consuming of the recipe will be your pears and your, go ahead and dump this part in, is your celery, because we're going to add celery to it too. And the next step I'm going to do is the celery, and it takes 4 stalks of celery. Now I want you to notice that this recipe does not have mayonnaise in it. And a lot of times when people are making pear salads or salads, they think they have to put some kind of mayonnaise or sour cream or something like that. So just remember, this does not have this. So this keeps this salad very low calorie because we're not adding anything like that to it. Almost finished with this one. So I'm going to take this one. I'm going to go ahead and toss this one a little bit because I want to keep it looking really good. So I have that mixed up. I have one more pear to go. And cut the ends off of them. And if you don't like the peeling to the pears, please, peel them like you would like to. That's fine. But I am going to leave the peeling on. It does add a little character to the salad too. It doesn't just gives a little bit of different color to the salad, so that's good. And also, I'm just kind of cutting it off the sides. So what you could do, if you wanted to, you could come back, take the pear part, and just chow down as far as eating the rest of it off the little pieces around where the seeds are. But I do want to make sure that I don't get any seeds in the salad. And these pears are chopping up very nicely, so I hope they're going to taste as good as they're chopping as far as their texture. One more side to go. And then we're going to chop up the celery. And like I said, it's 4 stalks of celery. So I'm going to go ahead and add this. And the pears right here are still looking really good. I think I just dropped a little bit of them. So we want to get as much. And one thing I left off today is my scoop. I have to remember to get that out every once in a while because it's very helpful when you're trying to scoop up, when you're chopping things up, it really helps. So we're going to move that into the bowl. And the reason why I did the pear first, like I said, is because I want to keep it from turning brown. It's going to mix this up a little bit more. So that was about 3 pears. And if you had really large pears and you had the variety you like, then it may be that you only need to use 2 pears, but the recipe is going to say 2 to 3 pears. So as you can see, that's 3 pears right there, and you can see about how many that's going to be chopped up. So now we're going to take 4 stalks of celery. And if you're not a celery person, then maybe you want to knock it down to 2 pieces of stalks of celery. But I'm going to take the stalks and I'm going to half each one of them because it's going to tell you on the recipe to do something like a bite size. So I'm going to take them and just kind of go down the center. Try to get them more of a bite size. And I'm just going to chop these up. And I love celery. And I think I even like it more when I cut into it and have that smell. It's just a really good smell. And celery to me too is the same thing. You can tell when it's in season. It's just so tender. It smells really good. It also chops good. So this is going to really add a lot of flavor to the salad also. So I am almost done. And I think I'm just going to take the whole cutting board this time, hopefully, and knock all the celery inside that bowl instead of have to scoop it up. I'm trying to get toward the end here. All right, so we have bite-sized celery, and this is 4 stalks. I need to turn it the other way so I will not push it out where my handle is. See if I can move it up. I'm going to put this in, and it's already looking good because you have the pears, which has a little bit of their peeling to it, And also you have the celery, which is giving a little color to the salad too. So as you can see, I'm just going to kind of mix it around because I want to make sure that vinegar and the honey also get mixed into that pear, because I really want to make sure it's incorporated all through the ingredients as far as that goes. Now, the next things that it asks you to do for the recipe is you're going to have to put some pecans in it. It's a half a cup. This is a half a cup. But if you don't like pecans and you like cashews better, you could use a half a cup of cashews. So either way, whatever your nut, and if you like sunflower seeds, you could even do it with sunflower seeds too. So that would be something you might want to think about as far as the different types of nuts out that you really like, that you might like to use. We're also going to put a little bit of cheese in it. Now the recipe is going to ask for about 6 ounces of cheese, but we're going to hold back just a little bit because once I put this salad on the butterhead lettuce, I want a little bit just to sprinkle on top just to give a little color. So I'm going to go ahead and put the cheese in there. I'm going to hold back maybe about 1/4 of a cup of the cheese, because I want it enough to sprinkle on. So I'm going to save that over here so I don't forget, and you're going to mix the cheese in with the salad. And to me, I am making a wonderful mess today. So you're just going to kind of mix this in together, and you can see as I keep mixing, you don't see as much of the honey or the vinegar. So I'm just going to kind of get this incorporated in with the rest of this. And like I said, there's no mayonnaise to this salad. So just remember, it's going to be, and also this cheese that I'm using is a reduced fat cheese. If you want to go all the way out with it, you could use a fat-free cheese and it still would turn out just great on the salad. So doesn't this look great? Great color. It's going to be crunchy and it's going to be healthy, and you're going to get a lot of great vitamin C, great fiber from that pears. I hope you're going to like the pear salad. We'll see you back in just a little bit on Garden Delights. Welcome back to Garden Delights. We had to pull Frank from the farmer's market. We had tomato tasting today, and they had a lot of good tomatoes out there for people to choose from, Frank, and I know you got a favorite probably.
I've eaten a lot of tomatoes. You know, they cut them up in little bitty pieces. You have to sample a lot to get all the tomatoes you want, but that was going really good. We had a lot of people out there trying to pick out their favorite tasting tomato. A lot of them didn't even know there were that many varieties of tomatoes to choose from, so that was going good.
It was really good.
But I knew I had to come in here and taste what you were fixing.
Yes,
so
I was hoping you would come in.
I will be comparing this to all the tomatoes that I've been tasting.
That sounds really good. Well, today we have pear salad.
All right.
And so it's a little different from what you probably are used to. It doesn't have any mayonnaise in it now, Frank, so it's hopefully going to be really healthy for you. So I'm going to go ahead and spoon you some up. And what I'm going to do, it has a little bit of cheese in it, but if you're like me, I love cheese. Now, what I told you in the recipe was you could put it on a bed of lettuce, and I chose the butterhead lettuce because I like it because it's really flat. But you also can eat that lettuce too. It just makes it really pretty as far as showing it, so don't feel like you can't eat your pear salad.
You could roll that up like a taco, right?
You really could. That's a grand idea. You really could. So I'm going to take a little bit more.
Pear taco. I like pears. My grandmother had pear trees, and we used to stand out there and eat pears.
When I found someone in my neighborhood that had a pear tree, I used to really like going to their house to pick some pears myself. They're very tasty and very good. Well, let's see what you think.
All right, let's go.
And see what you think as far as the taste. That pear is pretty good.
That pear is real good.
It's very crunchy. I put a little pecans in it too.
Yep, that's good.
And I know you like nuts. And a little bit of celery. So hopefully you'll like that too.
Now, it doesn't hold on to my fork real well.
I know.
I may have to get out my chopsticks.
Okay, we'll let you do that also. Check out the website to find the recipe. And you can see it's very tasty from what we're looking at and tasting. So I hope you're going to like the recipe. We'll see you back next time on Garden Delights.